talk about all things money related from a Catholic perspective. And we welcome Drew to the show. Good morning, Drew. How are you?
Drew Blazsik, hi.
Hey, what's going on, Dave? I don't see you, but how's it going?
Do you see me now?
Oh,
Can
there you
see
are.
Me now?
You're an apparition, Dave.
It's good to see you, brother. How are you?
Hey, doing pretty good. Just battling this weather change. It's just, I don't know. I wish it was warm all the time.
Hey, are we excited about that 50-year mortgage idea?
I'm
wondering if what we call a death pledge is its actual name is death pledge.
I want to push 100. I think that would be because I think God will let us live longer if we do that. He would honor our loans,
baby.
There you go.
maybe.
Yeah.
But so I got a bunch of data. I want to show
Good.
why it's not just because if you're 30 years old, you're going to be 80 by the time you pay it off. I'm going to show you statistically how bad it is. So I got this, just by the way, if anyone likes financial modeling, anything, you can visit my website, Logos and Markets, and I create, or on YouTube, I do
I like
mortgage.
hand modeling.
What's that?
I like
Hand modeling?
Hand modeling.
I do a very advanced mortgage calculator, and I pulled it up the other day to look at the data. Okay, so hear me out on this. If let's say you take a mortgage of $400,000, which is the average home price,
Right.
and right now it's a 6.22% mortgage interest rate on the mortgage. Your payments would be $24.55.
Wow.
Interest paid. So this is what's important about this.
Yeah.
So this is a 30-year mortgage. A 30-year mortgage at a 6.22, you'd be paying $24.55. You would owe at the life of the mortgage $483,000. So you're going to be paying more in interest than you are on the actual house itself.
Right.
And that's
You're
for
going to
30
pay
years.
$483,000 in interest for a $400,000 loan.
If you hold on to it. Now, I got some other data I'll pull up in a second that the average holder of a house is 10 years.
Yeah.
So typically they sell within 10 years. But if you hold it for 30, it's $483,000.
Wow.
Now let's say, okay, before I go to the 50, so what they did back in the day in the 1930s, they extended it to a 30-year mortgage. And before that, it was called an interest-only balloon payment, which means you only paid simple interest on your mortgage. And it was only 3 to 7 years. And then at the end of it, it's almost like a bond. You would owe the principal at the end of the mortgage. That's how they did it back then, which caused, you could say foreclosures because people couldn't pay it off at the end. But it was called a simple interest only mortgage. So then they introduced the 30. So let me tell you the difference. If you got a 15-year mortgage, it is only 5.5% interest. So it's lower because it's safer for the banks. But the payment would be $32.68.
Wow.
So you would, and then you're only paying $188,000. So I guess I want to emphasize here is that from a 15 to a 30, that's a $813 difference. That could make sense because you lower it. Okay, so now let's go to a 50-year mortgage. If you go to a 50-year mortgage, I use the same assumption is that since a 15 mortgage was 5.5% and then a 30 is more risky, 6.22, I took that difference. And if you got a 50-year mortgage, you're going to pay a higher interest rate.
Right,
so I said 6.94, make it fair.
Okay.
So your payment would be, and this is why statistically it makes no sense. Your payment would be $23.88. A 30-year mortgage is $24.55.
So you're saving $100.
You're saving exactly a 30 to a 50, $67
$67
per month.
Wow.
Now listen to this though. If you kept it for 50 years, you'd be paying over $1 million in
Oh my
interest.
gosh!
Wow.
For a $400,000 house.
Yeah. That's where they get you.
You can see why the banks like it.
And then this is crazy. Oh, banks love it because here's what happens. I got some more. I wrote this down. The interest paid in 10 years. So let's say you sell the house in 10 years. That means you're going to reset your mortgage every 10 years, right? So would the banks love this? If you got a 30-year mortgage, you're paying $231,000 in interest in 10 years. If you got a 50-year mortgage, 30-year. If you got a 50-year, you're paying $273. principal paid on the house, if you had a 30 in 10 years, you're paying $63,000 on the house.
Yeah.
If you got a 50, you only paid $12,000.
Oh my goodness.
So
you owe the bank exactly what you borrowed, plus you paid all that.
It's like you're
interest.
just resetting. If you put inflation in there, it's like it's a continuous rent. You can think about it in that way. And in Catholic social teaching, we want people to own their property, not just by paying a bank back. You want to own your property.
Right.
So just this, so people understand the statistics behind it, that I'm going to pull up my calculator, and this is the crazy part, is that this is how compound interest starts. So again, a 50-year mortgage is $23.45. Let's put a 70-year mortgage. The payment becomes $22.86.
Right.
Let's do a 100-year mortgage. The payment becomes $22.69.
Right.
Let's do a 1,000-year mortgage. The payment becomes $22.66. Yeah. So statistically, how a mortgage works, from 100 to 1,000 years, you save $3 a month because you're paying all compound interest for the remaining of the loan. Oh, wow. That's how it works. So the longer, so it makes sense. I guess my point is, it makes sense from 15 to 30, but the 30 to 50 makes no sense. Then you go beyond that, you're doing nothing besides paying the banks.
Well, and to me, I look at it, in our generation, our parents paid their houses off, and when they died, we inherited those houses without debt. I would assume the same is being set up for the generation to come. Most of us are going to have paid off our houses, and then when we die, those are going to be assets that are passed down to our children.
So
with a 50-year mortgage, that ain't happening.
Well, when they introduced the 30-year mortgage, this is what happened, was that everyone who did not save, so excuse me, you have the saver and you had the one who did not save. Right. Anyone could buy a home. Right. So what does that do? It drives up home prices. So if this is a Drew Blazsik policy, is that if there's a way that you can force people that they have to save a larger down payment, which means you're going to have to either rent or you have to save money at the beginning of your life to buy a house, you'll see home prices drop. Right. And if you introduce these long mortgages, that's why skyrocketing home prices. And that's why home prices, you could say, are built on speculation about the price of the home. When you have these mortgages, if you didn't have these massive mortgages, and let's say you went back to a 15, that means people have to save to buy the home. It will be totally directly correlated with income, not speculation on the loan itself. So that's really important. If you want the house to remain competitive with your income, you can't have all these massive loans. And you could say the same thing with school. Since they have loans for all these kids to go to school, the price of schooling goes straight up. Because anyone can go to school really cheap and not even worry about it until they're in debt until they're like 30 or 40 or 50 years old.
There's a very, very simple equation out there that makes the most sense to me. In 1970, the average price of a house was double the average family income for the year. Yeah. Now, look at that now. There's no way that math is completely gone. The average price of a house is 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times the average household income for a year.
Yeah, it's unattainable because it's all based on speculation. So if I had to say anything to the listener, is we should be a nation of savers. Save money, purchase it. You would appreciate what you buy more if you work for it now rather than pay it off later.
Good point. Wow.
Sound advice from Drew Blazsik. I went the casino route. That wasn't the best thing to do.
I tried it too.
Now give us the website again.
Logos and markets. That's why I put a lot of my Catholic stuff on there, and then also financial modeling. If you like Excel and you like to build different models.
Okay. Really helpful. Thank you, Drew.
.com. Yeah. Okay. Logosandmarkets.com.
Okay.
Good
Drew
stuff.
Blazsik, Faith in Finance puts it in perspective for us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Have a great weekend.